Yeah. All right, come on, set the destination. Let's go. How you guys doing? Um, what were we doing yesterday? It was something. There we go. YouTube's working now. How you guys doing? So, we made a test socket yesterday with the silicon inner. I sent this out to the client, the clinic, earlier today. But this was the one that had failed, had fallen over and broken. But today we're gonna help my police officer friend here make something for his cuffs. If you remember last time we were working on this, it was just a little project for, here we go, we're making a pocket for some cuffs, literally. And I had created this outer portion. I don't know if I did that in the stream. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I think it was Thanksgiving. So it's been a minute since I worked on this thing. Isolate this. So he's asked for modifications to be made. Excuse me, let me pull up. Let's pull up what he asked for. Wait, he sent me a picture. For making this the retaining divot a little bit lower. And let's see if we can just do that from here, or if we need to modify all these vertices and go from there. That's something that you'll be doing a lot in Blender. And by that I mean just taking like some of these vertices and maybe using proportional editing. It's a really awesome tool. Like, say you want to grab these, you'll click on proportional editing, and we just want to bring it down. So we're gonna hit G for down, and then wheel scroll to widen your range of effect here. And I was like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. This might be too steep. And if you're trying to slide into something that's really steep, you're just going to get blocked while you're going in there, right? So maybe what we'll probably do is have to kind of like start over a bit. Now, that's why I like to always make these duplicates over here. And I don't know if it's totally optimal, because, you know, every time you copy paste duplicates, you're going to be making more, adding more vertices. But you see, I had made this sphere to do that divot before. And clearly I didn't actually save the actual divot that I wanted, that I actually used. So we're gonna have to go with like a new one. Okay. Now we have to fill in that void again. So that's something that's gonna be. I just heard my bell run. Oh, that's for some other silicon project I'm doing. That's fine. Which I don't have to do anything about that now. I'll just let it cool off. It's up at like 270 degrees. So it needs to cool off now. All right, so you've got a model and you need to remove some structure, right? You can, you either download the model off of like Thingiverse or Colts or whatever, and you need to modify it in Blender. Blender is pretty awesome for modifying designs. I'm hitting / here. Let me turn on screencast keys for you so you can see what's happening here. You let me know what's going on with you guys. How you been doing? I'd love to chat with you guys. There has been a lot going on in the world. God, there's a lot of drama. Everywhere. I'm sorry, I'm just chewing on a gobstopper, or sucking on a gobstopper, whatever. So we're gonna grab all of the vertices that I plan to remove and kind of just fill in the void again. All right, we're gonna delete, and if there's anything that's left over, we'll either delete or we'll backspace. Control Z and delete. So delete vertices. All right, so that looks like what should have been expected. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna grab all the top vertices and make sure that you've got them all. Nothing looks too weird, anything you might have to fix beforehand. And then we're just gonna hit F here to fill it. And I didn't, oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So we've moved some, we removed some of that geometry. Let's go back into wireframe. And once again, try to get just the edge, and we're just going to fill this edge too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just like to double check, because you could end up filling something and it will come up with some weird clipping or geometry that's not right. All right, so now we've done that. We'll just make sure it's manifold. Just go ahead and make manifold. And you can see that we've made a mistake already. So something's up here. We have to figure out what that is. See, because what I did is I took this and I made manifold, and it's deleted a bunch of stuff. Well, let's go back and we figure out what went wrong. We'll do some, you know, what probably went wrong is we tried to fill this when we shouldn't be. We should not have this outer edge. And just check again here. The geometry is not optimal, but it's good enough for what we have to do. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just making stuff to be useful. Okay. Like, I don't know. Some people will say that, oh, you know, Blender is not an engineering software, not like CADs or whatever, where the loop cuts and the flow are going to be mathematical instead of parametric, and we really want it in orthographic and whatever. But I've worked with CNC machines. I've worked with carving machines, and at the end of the day, they just take an STL file. They don't care. So let's hit F to fill that. And there you go. That works better. 0, 0, 0. So it really, like, does it matter? You know, if you can't afford some expensive ass closed source CAD program, then, you know, and that's just gonna stop you from doing what you want to do, then what's the point of that? Blender is open source and powerful enough to get what you want to go. What is that? I thought I just fixed that. What's going on? Yep, there's two of them there. See, there's that one. And there's that one. So let's just delete one of those. Should I? Let's just go ahead and wireframe. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's just go ahead and duplicate. Let's just try to lag the computer out a little bit more. All right, so we got our fuzzy cuffs here, and you can see that it's a pocket for your cuffs. You know, maybe you're in that kind of thing. Maybe you like to role play. Maybe you're a police officer. You know, maybe you like to do that with your wife, your girlfriend. / to isolate, and okay, let's try to make sure. Let's delete that now because we don't need that. All right, that should be the one we fixed. All right, there we go. Oh, actually, you know, we do need a frame of reference here. So let's undo that delete. Yeah. And let's just hide some of this stuff. Okay, so that's good. So we're going to... I'm keeping it because I want a frame of reference for what was originally the deal. And basically what he said is just to make that more shallow at the top. So let's try to do what we were doing similarly to before. Seemed like the width was about right. As he mentioned. But I don't want to scale this in the X direction, I guess. Oh, in the Y direction. I gotta imagine the pair of cuffs sliding into this. Which is, I don't know, not bad. Let's bring this back a little bit. And then see, okay, so we've I don't know, we've eliminated this much. You know, how else could we do it? We could do it by, you know, raising this up a little bit. Just a little bit and pulling it back more. Okay. And there we've eliminated 4.5 to 5 millimeters of this. And this is basically so that you can go in with your fingers, and if this were cut right around here, then you can still go in with your fingers and get your fingers into this open space. If you get your fingers into this open space, it'll be easier to pull out the pair of cuffs. You know, you don't have to be fumbling around with this thing. And that's kind of the goal. So let's do a little bit. Let's go scale Z. Make this maybe a little bit more round. Okay. So we've made this less deep by a couple of millimeters, 2.5 millimeters. That's fine. But I don't actually like the you know, I kind of want to copy this design a little bit more, the original design, which what I did is I took, here's a couple of vertices. Could you make characters from Ugly Duckling and Me TV series? Hey there. Yeah, you know, I want to. I have a couple of models that I want to do. But yeah, if you want to, you know, you should send me, or you know, I'll note it down, and we'll get some models and we'll start doing some. But yeah, that's totally on the idea list. We've got my cousin. She's I don't know, she's like 23 or something, and she's like an aspiring artist, and she's got some really good models. I wonder if I can. They're really adorable and simple to do. So Ugly Duckling, it sounds like, I think, if I know what you're talking about, they seem, I think they're pretty decently simple models. Ugly Duckling and Me, right? And Me. And then we can go through on how to 3D print them. It's from Google. Ugly Duckling and Me. Okay, so there are 3D. Are they 3D models already? Is this it? Does it have the mouse? Is that it? With the mouse? Let me know. Because that would be interesting, actually. Because if they're already 3D models, it might actually be easier on the phone. So absolutely, that's a great idea. Retro window fan, I'll note that. We'll definitely do that. Thanks for joining. Oh, but yeah, there is tons of stuff that needs to be modeled, and this is just like a growing thing. Yes, Awesome. All right, that's what I thought. I will note that. In fact, let me just take a screenshot of that. There we go. We'll do that one next. I want to make fan made of that cartoon. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, do you do some drawing or something? Because that is sick. I would love to do some modeling, and honestly, that looks simple enough. Honestly, you have like a 3D printer or something, because then you could like print them and have them set up. I've got some other friends who want different things. As soon as like, what was that movie called? Demon Hunter, K-pop Demon Hunter. I think I watched it once. She was just like, she really wanted that blue cat. She was dying to have someone model that and make it. So we're probably gonna do a bunch of actual cartoons. All right, so let's hide this. Let's hide that and see what happens if we just Boolean subtract this thing. And these models, I'm looking at the model now. It's a mouse, some little chickens. Ew, that'll be sick. That would be sick, yeah. And I bet you they have some of these models already made, so I don't even know if I have to do much. Do difference. All right, and there you see that we've got something different. Let's just compare it to the old stuff here. All right, so here's the old one. I see. I didn't do that great actually. I need to make it smaller. So you do any? I hope you didn't leave. But do you do any drawing? You said you want to make some fan made. Fan made of that cartoon. Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to animate it? If you want to animate it, I'll have to do it in. I'll have to do some decent topology, which will be, will be good practice. Let's go scale Y and get this guy down. Okay, OBJ, okay. Or FBX. That's not, do you do modeling or something in some modeling software? Or animation? I'm sorry, do you do some animation? Like Blender or Maya or I don't know. I think you could do it like other ones, Illustrator or something. With rig bones, I've never actually done rigging, but I've watched a bunch of videos on how to do it, so it doesn't sound too difficult. And honestly, these cartoons, they don't look. It doesn't seem too hard. It doesn't seem that hard. It's just gonna be a few bones, really. Something for the mouth. But that would be an interesting challenge, especially for me to get into some rigging. I'd love to do that. Which character here is would be your main? I mean, I guess you'd have to do like basically most of them. But which ones here, if you could rattle them off so I know which ones to focus on. That's fun. I would love to see you do something with that. That is really interesting. Any other cartoons that you do any fan made for? Do you do any animation? There's so much. Yeah, hell yeah, man. That'll be fun. Now you wait for the 3D models. Yeah, you have to give me a contact too, so I'll not send it to you. I'm not that busy these days. Like I do prosthetics, I do like prosthetics And braces. So these like, you've got like these braces here. This is called a crow boot, right? And this thing is 3D printed. You know, so it's modeled and 3D printed. But I work on like hands. There's like a hand. This thing broke. But this is 3D printed out of out of dissolvable plastic, and then I'll laminate these with carbon fiber after I'm done modeling them, and then I'll grind the carbon fiber and send it out to clinics that use my prosthetic stuff. You know, I'll do legs too. Like this is a prosthetic leg. This is actually a test socket, so this goes over the person's residual limb, right? And then they'll glue a foot to the bottom so the person can walk around. Really, that's my forte, is to work in the real world, you know? People who got amputated, or people who are born with missing a limb or something. Alright, so that looks more squashed, which is better. Let's go and Alt-H so we can unhide stuff. And then rehide stuff. Alright, and we can see here what we did here. This is shorter. And that's basically what he wanted. He wanted, so, you know, cops that are either wearing gloves or have fat fingers, they wanted to be able to get in there and like grab their cuffs really quickly. It is really fun having a police officer friend. That is cool. We're, you know, fairly new friends, but it's cool having him come over to my house, like in his gear and stuff, and like have me like poking around and pulling on his gun and stuff and pulling on his cuffs, just things that you would never do to a police officer. It is awesome, actually. I have a funny story. Yeah, when he came over my house, I was decorating my Christmas tree, and I've got two kids. I've got a 6-year-old and a 11-month-old now, right? And he comes over, and I'm in the other room. I'm in the adjacent room, and we have our Christmas tree. I don't know if you can see it over there. I got a Christmas tree in the foyer, and my 10-month-old is just crawling around on the ground, and my 6-year-old is there decorating the tree. And I am in I'm in this room, and I'm gluing ornaments back together because they're like 20-30 years old. All right. And my daughter sees a police officer, this police car roll up to my house. Right. And I live in a neighborhood where it's weird to see a police officer. I've got like 2 or 3 police officers that live in my community here, in my neighborhood, but it's weird to see. It would be weird to see a police officer just hanging around here. I live near the entrance of this community too, so it's a little weird. So whenever there is a police officer here, I always get like text messages and stuff like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, is everything all right? Like, why is there a cop at your house?" And I have to explain, "Oh, it's just my buddy." All right. So anyway, he comes to the door, and my daughter sees him, and she just goes and opens the door for him, and then you know, this cop walks into my house, and he sees my kids alone here, and they're, you know, at the Christmas tree, and I'm over here in this other room, and I didn't even hear anything, and I would just hear like the door open and close. I'm just like, "What's going on?" And I go over there, and it's my cop buddy. And he's like looking at my daughter. He's like, "Where's your father?" I'm like, I swear I did not leave her alone. Don't arrest me." No. What's going on? Okay. I'm like, I swear I'm not being negligent. Alright. And then I talk to my daughter. I'm like, "Listen," in front of him. "Next time you have to ask for a warrant before letting him in." I'm joking, but it's funny. I swear. I'm like, "Come on, kid. You're gonna snitch on me." Alright, so we're just pulling this back a little bit. There. I'm like, dude, what have I taught you? You gotta ask for a warrant. And he starts cracking up. Alright, we're gonna go like that. That a little bit. Okay, and we're just gonna like hide. I guess we can hide that. I wonder if I should flare this out more like I did before. Well, we'll just hide this first and we'll check out how it, oops. We'll just hide this one. We'll check out how we do here, okay? So you can see a little bit of clipping. That's just gonna be from the cuffs on the inside. And that is basically what I want. I wanna see a little bit of clipping because then I know it's gonna be holding in there securely for him. Okay. And I guess that's pretty much it, I think he said he actually also wanted this a little bit longer. So we're gonna grab the face and we're just gonna pull it out longer. But actually, honestly, I also have the top portion. Do I have it hidden or no? Yes, I do have it hidden. There we go. Okay, so I got this cap here. We got to make changes to the design of this cap too. And the way we're going to be doing that, honestly, all of this needs to be redefined here. But we'll be using the same. We just need to make this thing beefier. Okay, because he uses a thin plastic for this, and he has to heat it up and melt it over this. And anything that's any plastic here, since this is 3D printed, any thin plastics here are also just gonna get melted. And I can't have this thing melting. Okay, so what we're going to do here, like I said, I want to make these straight. I just want to make these straight, you know. This loop and, you know, probably this loop. I don't know if I can do this easily. This is, let me see if I can capture it. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, we can. So we're gonna want to make this. We want to scale this in the Y direction, 0. There you go. Now we're gonna try to do the same thing here on this side. Bop, bop, bop. Yeah. Was that easier than I thought, actually? Okay. Scale Y0. Okay. The only issue is that there's going to be something on the inside. Oh yeah. That's right. This is a little bit of an issue too. Alright, because that bump corresponds to the bump that we had before. So I can't actually use this. I've got to make a totally new one. That kind of sucks a little bit. But it's not too bad. Actually, let's take some measurements here, because we're going to duplicate this. All right. I made this gap here because guess what? If you're going to be melting plastic over this and you want to have your plastic take up a certain amount of space, kind of like the curve on the blade. Got 1.6, and he didn't make any complaints about that. So we're going to keep that at 1.6. So that's a 1.6 offset. So let me just put here, you know, 1.6. I was gonna say millimeters, but I think I pretty much know. All right, so let's delete this guy. We're gonna use the same technique that we used yesterday. I don't know if you guys were here, but let's just hide this here. We're gonna use the same sort of technique we did yesterday with using the solidify modifier. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is go into edit mode, hit all on our vertices, and I think we just go ahead and like duplicate. We can either duplicate, let's just duplicate the object real quick. Okay, let's click on our object and let's hide everything else just by clicking / just to isolate our object here. And we're just gonna make a cover basically. All right, I think the easiest way to do that is just to grab our faces here, and then we're just going to delete these faces. All right, let's just do that. Delete faces, and nothing happened. Nice. Let's try that again, huh? Delete faces. Okay. Let's make sure we didn't screw up. I think we did screw up a little bit. I think what had happened. You see, what had happened was. I didn't duplicate this. There. Okay. / Okay. That's the only object. Gotta make sure that's the only object that you're doing. Grab that. Well, this is all pretty basic stuff. And again, I'm not doing it optimally. I'm just doing it like what makes sense. I swear to God, what's going on here? What is going on over here? I am deleting this, and it's causing me. Ah, is that better? I was gonna say it's causing me to like delete my other thing. There you go. There. We got two objects. One of them has faces deleted. Fine. That works. Let's hide these guys here. So we're back to normal here. Let's hide that. Okay. Alright, so solidify modifier. We're gonna hit our wrench over here, and that solidify is gonna do you know exactly what you think. It's gonna make it solid. Right? I'm gonna fix my mouse here. We're gonna make it solid, and we're gonna have an offset. In fact, maybe we keep our other junk here, and we just get rid of a few things using the hide thing. Okay, and we need that one, and I think that's the one that we need to hide too. So let's just hide that. All right, so one of them is going to be our cover, and one of them is the inside, right? This is great for if you're making any boxes or things that need to fit into each other. Just think of a box with a cap, right? We're going to be basically doing the same thing. All right, so we got that. We're going to hit +1 on our offset just for now. In thickness, we're going to go not that 1.6, but it was like, I don't know. Okay, well, this one actually needs to be something that's changed too. Let's just say 5 millimeters for now, but we're actually going to make that greater. Offset. Now you can see that what's going on is the box top is right up against the inner. So you're going to want to do a little bit. If you're actually doing like a little box, you know, maybe you want, you know, 1.5 or something, right? Maybe probably less than that. Probably even less, but we know we need 1.6. So here we are. There's our thing. Let's just go ahead and do 1.6. You know, and does that even work? Let's just drag this a little bit larger there. All right, see, that makes more sense. Okay, now he asked me to make the cap, the top, the cover. I'm just using different languages so you guys know what I'm talking about. Asked me to make the cover thicker. Okay, and the reason is because there's going to be a bunch of extra plastic over on the outside of this, and to flatten it out, it's probably better to have something that's thick. Originally I had a thin version, and I don't have my prototype here, but we're gonna go ahead and just make it thicker. You probably wanting to do that for a box. You know, it's up to you. It depends on what you're going for. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna keep that offset there, and I don't know, let's just double it first, right? And you see how it made it thicker. It made it a bunch thicker, which is what we're going for, and I like that. That's not bad. This is just gonna be used to squish down, and it's just squish that plastic down over. Just go 15. Okay, but I did notice here but the gap is actually increasing as well, so that is interesting. I don't know if it should be doing that. We don't really want it to do that. It does look consistent, but that might give us a hint to what's actually happening here. But let's double it. 20. Okay, so 20. That's honestly, I don't know. I want to say that's too much, but that's probably not too much. You know, it probably isn't. It's probably just fine. It looks like there's some geometry we're gonna have to fix up a bit. But to address the offset issue here, because now that's way big, let's just bring this down. Okay, there you go. And it kind of snapped. Okay, now we imagine hot plastic over top and then squish this on top. That makes sense. That makes more sense, I guess. All right, and then what we'll do? Yeah, you know, let's just keep it like that. We're gonna apply it, and then there's geometry that we have to fix up. Okay, and then let me control Z wireframe and let's unhide everything. Oops, not Alt G, Alt H, please. Alt H. You see, you're not looking at the, huh? Sorry, I'm moving so quickly. I have to keep things. I gotta keep things moving, or else things get bored. It's hard to keep people entertained while doing Blender. Anyways, first, hey, you're not looking at the kick chat and not the Twitch one either. No, I'm looking at the. I'm trying to get them all at the same time. And forgive me, you know, this is my first time. Not really my first time, but it's hard to do. It's hard to do this modeling and look at chat. It seems like most people that are streaming, they're just like talking about what's going on in the world. At least the big streamers, that's what's going on. And I get that. But, you know, they're not, yeah, I don't see a lot of streamers that are actually like producing much. But there are some awesome streamers that I like that are 3D modelers. I guess I'm trying to emulate them a little bit. But yeah, you gotta forgive me. I'm a little new at this. Okay, I'm even a little new at Blender. I've only been doing it a few years, and I'm totally self-taught too. So we're gonna go ahead and take this and isolate it. But how are you guys doing? Carissa Moon, Miss Moon, how are you? Retro, I don't know if you guys are still here, but how are you guys doing? Thanks for the tip though. I think I've got them. I've got all of my chats. And like I've consolidated them into one chat thing, and I can see it. But I use OBS, I guess, like most people do. But I'm using like Castro Labs to do the chat, and so it's like sucks up the chats from all these different the streaming destinations and puts them to one thing for me. So what the deuce just happened here? Okay, this thing. Okay. So this is just showing us our before and after. Here's where we started, and here's where we go. We need to apply this, which we can only apply in object mode. So let's do that. Okay. Okay. So now you see we've got some clippage, things that don't make sense here. So we actually have to like manually go in and grab this stuff and fix it up. So we're just gonna literally just be deleting faces and just rebuilding topology here. Delete faces. Oh, what happened there? Delete faces. Okay, there. And this is just more clippage that we need to deal with here. And we can probably just go to this and then hit all and then P to separate by loose parts. Now we can take this and we can just delete it safely. Right? Yes, there we go. Thank you. Okay, now we can go ahead and fill that, but there's other weird things we gotta take care of, like this stuff here. What's going on here? It's kind of like a blown up balloon. So you get some weird stuff going on. You know, some pinch and some folds, that kind of stuff. So it helps to have merge vertices. So we can just grab one and then drag and click. And we'll just kind of do what makes sense here. And figure out what's going on here. You know, we may even just grab this inner loop first and fill it. And then try to do like that. Right? And then hit F to fill. Okay, so that fixed our topology on top a bit. And then maybe we'll just do all merge by distance to see if there's anything that needs to be merged. We can modify this merge by distance here. Like so. Hit enter. 0 vertices. Okay, so we shouldn't have too much clippage, but there's stuff that we gotta address here. Okay, like all this weirdness here. Like, ew, what's going on? We can go into wireframe, see what's happening here. Okay. Okay. Now, the geometry here really doesn't matter that much, so we can just go ahead and merge stuff over. Like, not that big of a deal. The only weird portion is we're getting some... Yeah, okay, so I was wondering, we're getting some doubleage here. So I think we actually need to delete one of these things. I don't know why I've got 2 objects here. Let's just delete one of them. And then let's alt in object mode. Solid mode. We're going to unhide stuff just to see what's going on. You know, we still have our internal. We still have our external. Great. Okay. So that's all right. All right. Back to what we were doing. Go back. We're just going to go. All right. And keep working on it. There. So now we should be able to see the changes. Okay. So before I was making changes and then I was seeing like lines underneath, and that was just because there was another model underneath it. So weird stuff happens. I've been through a lot of problems in Blender, and Blender, you know, there's a lot of tutorials online, but it is totally, you could totally learn on your own. You know, you're capable enough. If I can do it, you guys could do it better than I can, believe me. Whoops. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I'm self-taught, but it's not, you know, it's not, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I was just talking to my UPS guy, and he started with, I don't know, something kind of like Tinkercad, which is, you know, you're just going to be taking primitive shapes and Boolean, you know, subtracting them out of other shapes, which is totally fine. I mean, that's how I started with Blender, honestly. And so if you can start like that with something like Tinkercad, you can totally do something in Blender. Okay. Now there's a lot of vertices that don't have things attached to them. Say like these guys here. These guys. You know, it's like, do you want to deal with them? We don't necessarily have to deal with them. We just need to deal with the topology necessary for making this thing a reality. It's not that deep, right? I will be doing other 3D models. I just had this retro wind. They're asking for some what is it? The ugly duckling and me. That's some interesting modeling we could get into. And so many of these models, especially like these modern like gotcha game models recently, they have so much of the model like they've got so much of the model like open sourced already. Come on. Let's just grab these and then merge by hitting M. Merge at first. Oh, at last. Sure, okay. Alright, whatever. If that works, it floats. No problem. Oh, I got my alarm going off. I'm gonna have to. I've got 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Not even. I'll probably have to go soon. Like right now. Alright, so I'm gonna drag stuff over and auto merge them together. Okay. Luckily, my police friend is not so picky. So he's not going to care if there's any weird angles or topology that's going on here. So we're basically just doing the bare minimum, and this is a easy. This is a very simple geometry. So just, you know, there's no need to sweat over it. You know, it's just going to be printed on a 3D printer, and again, it's just going to read STL files. Okay, so things are looking decent. I would like to fix this, but it is looking decent. We're almost done here. Let's go merge. Okay, at last. It's last. I thought it was at first, isn't it? Merge at first? What's going on? You know, sometimes Blender just knows what you're trying to do, which I find that interesting. I don't even know how it does that. Sometimes it just knows what you're trying to do, and it just like guesses. That's really interesting. And helpful. It's like having a girlfriend that actually likes you. I'm sorry if you're lonely. It's okay, we're here together. I love you. Merge it first. Like, it even does this cool thing where if you click something and you click it again, if I hit M, it just automatically aligns the drop down menu so that my mouse is already on merge at first. It knows, it learns. Well, that's what's cool about it being the Blender being open source, because if it's open source, there is so much of the community like working on it to just make it better. It's like having a bajillion mods. I mean devs. It's like having a bajillion devs working on it all the time. And it's just Python script. So it's not hard to learn. And even I wanna make some tools and some add-ons to handle this. They've got some great stuff, especially if you're doing animation. You're doing like if you're doing procedural modeling, their node system is pretty awesome apparently, and I need to learn more about it before I start talking about it, so I'm gonna shut up about it right now. Okay, so this looks good, and what do? We grab this, and hopefully there are no, you see, this does look weird though. It's kind of like strange clipping here in the center. I think what I'm gonna do here is just go to edit mode and then grab all of these. Solid mode. Okay, yeah. All right, so that was the weird part. It is kind of bulging out. So we're gonna go scale to Z0, and I explained that it just takes the average and it scales it down a little bit. Now he's not really going to need the top to be all that high, so let's just drag it down. All right, scale to Z0. You know, and if you want to, you can do the same for these loops. Scale Z0 just to make it look all right, nice and neat. But then we can scale it in just to make it look correct, you know, or leave it out like that so that he's got something to manhandle. You know, pull it on and push it on and pull it off. Okay. And then we can just like grab these and bring them back into alignment. Once you got them into alignment though, you do want to like force everything into alignment too. By using the same scaling procedure. Scale Y0. There. Okay. Alright, so that makes sense. The top is a little bit thinner. That saves time on print and materials. The offset should look good. Let's unhide everything. The offset should look good to me. Come on. Okay, the offset looks good to me. That's this like curved section, whatever. This is, let's hide that. So that's what it is. And then this bottom one is gonna be hidden because we don't need that either. What we do need to do though is to take this pole and stretch it. So we're gonna take another Boolean expression. We're gonna go scale X and just stretch it. Okay. Then since we're gonna be using a Boolean expression, we're going to duplicate it. And because we're going to lose it. Once we duplicate it, we're going to lose it. And let's erase. I don't want to affect these vertices. Okay, I'm just going to pull this down. Okay. Okay. Maybe even like take this and scale it up a bit. Okay, we're gonna need to set origin to geometry quickly. Scale this up just a bit. Right? Scale that up a bit. And how much we need to scale that up a bit by? I don't know. I actually do not know. Because we still need it to have the offset, because the plastic is going to go over top of this thing. All right, so we do need to measure it to make sure that it's within the range, like that. Like show. Okay. Scale. Let's go scale Y a little bit. Like that. Whatever. That's good enough. We'll just take that and we'll just go solidify, use a Boolean expression, take the difference, and there you go. So that should make more sense, I guess. We've got a little bit of weird stuff happening here, that's for sure. You know, like what happened to all of that? Did we do oh, okay. Oh. That was probably from, yeah, from, I don't know, what was that from? Scale, what? 0. Enter. Okay, we do need this bottom to be flat, because we're going to be doing this on the 3D printer. So scale be 0. Okay, top one, scale Z 0. Just bring that into alignment. You know, you could do it for all of these, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. Okay, just top and bottom makes sense. Okay, and that should be good. Like, we should be good to go. That should be good to print. Everything should be fine. Let's grab it and then hit make manifold. 0, 0, 0. No edges, no vertices, no faces that are overlapped or messing with each other. That is good to print now. Yeah, and I'll print that upside down. Here's the problem though, if I print this upside down, I'm gonna have this weird angle here, and that angle is too steep for a 3D printer. You know, it's gonna ask for support or something, which is gonna be a waste of material. So let's just go ahead and grab those, but make sure we're not grabbing the inside, because that's gonna screw up our geometry a bit. We're gonna just grab them and then we're just gonna pull it down. Okay. We're just gonna pull it up. I will make it flat. It's fine. It don't matter. It don't matter. Go into here, and what we're gonna do, right, to make it printable, scale Z 0, enter, tab. Okay, that looks good. That's flat. We don't need all this other geometry inside there, but it don't matter. All right, I'm gonna rush. We need to get stuff out. There you go. Everything makes sense. The divot's kind of small, but that makes sense because it's like the top of a box, basically. All right, we got everything back in, and that makes sense. We could just throw that onto the 3D printer and it's fine. You know, you could definitely do some more modifications to this and make it more streamlined or whatever, but this is a fairly small project. You know, it's not that deep. Don't think about it too much. All right, just do what you need to do to get it out. Okay, there you go. Some simple modeling that'll make a pouch for some handcuffs, and then you know, I think he'll just like cut stuff on the back of it to put some Velcro, and so you can loop it into your belt, and that's pretty much it. All right, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. We had a record number of viewers. I think we had a whole two viewers. I'm so disappointed. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Have a good day.